Hi again, and welcome back to 7-Minute Guitar. We are at the intermediate section talking about exercise 4. This is the dominant 7th open chord pairs section. So in the previous set of exercises, we talked a lot about the caged system, C-A-G-E-D, and about those standard open chords, major and minor. So C, A, G, E, and D, right? And so those chords also had some minor counterparts, E minor, A minor, D minor, and kind of played through those, got used to those sounds. Most songs are going to have just the major and the minor chord sounds, but a lot of times there's going to be another type of chord that's going to spice things up a little bit, make things a little more interesting. One of the most common ways to do that is the dominant 7th chord. And in fact, sometimes you can replace a chord that you're really familiar with a dominant 7th chord just to give a little flavor, a little color, a little character to the chord. So let's take A for example. So here's our A chord right here. Right? And then if I instead do A7 and go like this, right? Sounds almost exactly the same, but it gives it a little bit of color. Again, right? You can hear the difference. There are a few different ways to really accentuate that as well. Kind of go, right, and put that that dominant 7th tone on top. We're not going to worry about chord voicings quite so much in this exercise. We're just going to do some very straightforward chord shapes that get used most of the time. On your own, if you want to get into some advanced voicings, you can obviously do that. But again, this is more of a warm-up thing. So it's kind of getting used to chord pairs again, but instead of major chord pairs, we're doing dominant 7th chord pairs. So of those, I kind of broke it down into chords that are in the open position again. So I'll go through just in alphabetical order. I'm going to skip F7 because that's a bar chord. We'll talk about that later, talk about bar chords later. So I've got A7, I've got B7, that's a fun one. I've got C7, D7, E7, and finally G7. Yeah. So the 7 chord is always going to give something a little bit of a bluesy sound, or maybe a kind of a funky sound. Just depends, but it'll color your chord sequence really nicely. So with this exercise, it'll just be pairs. So I'll just pick a couple of pairs. Let's just do, let's say D7, A7. So it'll be D7. Just get used to the sound. Sometimes these sometimes these chord pairs have kind of an old-timey sound, right? The 7 chords, you could just kind of go. Much different than if they were just regular major chords, right? Right? Subtle, but different. So, anyway, get used to that dominant 7th sound, and that can make chord selection and chord sequences a little more interesting. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.